What you're seeing right now is the word de-escalation on loop. But I spent 20 years in the Navy watching how we really prep for war. And I'm telling you, this looks a hell of a lot more like a head fake than a peace move. You do not move a full carrier strike group into position with that kind of air power, that kind of logistics tail, just to send a nice little diplomatic message. That's not how this game works. And today I'm going to show you how and what those ship movements actually mean, why the media is missing the plot, and what I think is really being set up behind the scenes. Stay with me, because once you see it, you will not hear the word de-escalation the same way again. This is information coming out right now that the Pentagon has ordered the USS Abraham Lincoln, a carrier strike group, to leave the South China Sea and head toward the Middle East. They are steaming. They have a battle group. That means firepower. That means escalation of force. That means Donald Trump is not playing games, and he's sending a message to the people that are still in charge in Iran. We are coming. You are not going to continue to do what you're doing to people in that area. Trump made a promise. Whether you agree with it or not, he's carrying through on his promises. And you see here an image here of the strike group, the USS Abraham Lincoln. These are satellite images coming out right now from open source intel. Thank you. Satellite images of the USS Abraham Lincoln turning around and heading to the Middle East. There's more. It gets better. I'm going to play you this clip from Fox News, Brett Baer, this milquetoast clown.
Fox News tonight can confirm military assets are moving toward the Middle East after a recent withdrawal of Navy firepower in the region. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin has that story. Good evening, Jen.
Good evening, Brett. Well-placed official sources tell me U.S. military assets are preparing to move to the Middle East, likely to include at least one aircraft carrier and additional missile defense systems that will operate from air, land, and sea.
Okay, great. She hates Trump. I'm surprised she's honest, right? We've got more information here. Syria, we have U.S. forces leaving Syria. They have departed. I can't even think of the name of this Durka town, but watch this. There's MRAPs and up-armored military flying Old Glory. They're getting out of Syria. This comes on the heels of the retaliatory attack on ISIS in Syria strongholds after they killed 2 National Guard members that were from Idaho. So Trump is not taking his foot off the gas. More information here, more clips of them leaving the area. And you can hear the Durkas. They're probably celebrating. ISIS is gone. Durka. There you go. Great. Good for them. So Syria it looks like it's going to get back to normal. Hopefully. And normal is horrible. Normal is Minneapolis. Normal is rioting in the streets. Here we've got a statement from Donald Trump. I greatly respect the fact that all of the scheduled hangings, they were going to hang protesters, which were to take place yesterday, over 800 of them. Where is the ACLU? Where is all of these American organizations that are promoting riots here in our country that are not saying a damn word about actual hangings in Iran? Trump's sending help. Listen to what he says here.
Did Arab and Israeli officials convince you to not strike Iran?
Nobody convinced me. I convinced myself. You had yesterday scheduled over 800 hangings. They didn't hang anyone. They canceled the hangings. That had a big impact.
That had a big impact. Trump said right there, nobody convinced him. They convinced him by their actions.
The president and his team have communicated to the Iranian regime that if the killing continues, there will be grave consequences. The president and his team are closely monitoring this situation, and all options remain on the table for the president. Only President Trump knows what he's going to do, and a very, very small team of advisors are read into his thinking on that.
So when you hear de-escalation on a loop this week, I want you to remember what we just walked through. Carrier groups, flight decks, weapon loads. That's not a language of peace. That is the language of leverage. This channel here isn't to make you feel better about the narrative. It's here to make you smarter than the narrative. Why do any of you think that Trump would be putting a strike group, pulling a strike group away from the South China Sea, away from Taiwan, away from China, and sending it around and into the area of Iran? Does that make any sense other than just a hell of a couple of reasons, right? 3 real strong reasons. Number 1, Trump is preemptively staging his next move in Iran. Number 2, he is going to put a strike group, a battle group there in preparations for the retaliation from Iran. Or number 3, and this is the one where I really think things are going to come together. This is going to tie the room together like a rug for the Big Lebowski. While Iran is down, while Iran has actual riots and protests in the streets there, you're going to have all these other vultures, these other turkey buzzards, like I showed you on my walk the other day. They're going to swoop in. You're going to have China. You're going to have Russia. You're going to have Yemen. You're going to have Syria. You're probably going to have Qatar. You're going to have Turkmenistan and Turkey and all these other countries that hate America and that would like to get in the way and impede with actual liberty, with actual democratic, I would say, progress in that area. Do I want boots on the ground in Iran? No. Do I want a stable government in Iran that can run itself and not try to spin up nuclear weapons against us? Absolutely. A weak Iran becomes a hotbed of, I would say, some real big arms deals. Where do you think North Korea is going to get some stuff on the bargain? Right now, Russia could probably use some of these materials that Iran has. And I'll say this, there's probably some good actors, but I'm not seeing any movement by any members of NATO. I'm not seeing any movement by any members, I don't know, of other organizations that should be helping Iran, that should want peace in the Middle East. Where's Germany? Where's France? Where's England? Where are some of these countries? Where's Italy? Where is Spain? Why are we the only ones that are seeing a couple of moves ahead? Trump sees Iran as weak. When they're weak, they get desperate. The Ayatollah is probably going to be overthrown. They always do something stupid on their way out the door. The same way that right here at home in Minnesota, you see Tim Walz calling for actual riots and violence in the street because he knows he's defeated. The narrative has played out, and that's what you're going to see with Iran. Click the video on the screen, and you'll be able to check out this previous video that I put out. And it's how the media is basically spinning everything and avoiding the real questions. And they're going to avoid it right up until the very first explosion. And then right here at home, you'll be able to see people here in America probably protesting for the Ayatollah Khomeini. Why not? They've been protesting for Maduro. They've been protesting for all of these criminal migrants that are on the streets and committing all the crime here at home. I'm sure the Ayatollah Khomeini will be on some t-shirts in Minnesota. Thank you for watching. Smash a like and subscribe button. I'm just a veteran. I'm a Navy vet. Did a little time on submarines. Been around the block. And what I'm seeing is not what the news media is trying to convince you to believe. See you in the next one.